Action.
Hi, thank you for tuning in. I'm Gage, Hellion, and this is, once more,
Grimm Cat.
Grimm Cat. Cool name. Thank you for tuning in to Smile TV. We're here at the underground Rockshop at a nice little art show that we decided to drop through. Tell me a bit about yourself and maybe the kind of art that you do.
Well, I'm originally from a small town. I moved here a few years ago and really enjoyed the underground scene here in Des Moines. My art, I started doing that a few years ago because I used to do a lot more drawing and such in high school, and then I went to university and I didn't have access to, well, I didn't have funds for materials and space, and then one time I was at a friend's house and I started dabbling on my phone and I basically found the world of digital art, and I found that to be very accessible and something I could do versus using a lot of materials. And through a lot of practice and everything, I've arrived to where I am now, and I'm hoping to continue and grow and make more things that people find pleasing.
Sure. With your digital art, is there any specific like subgenre of art that you prefer, like maybe more of a gory or more of a beautiful, or a certain topic or theme you go with?
I use a lot of fractals. A lot of people have called some of my stuff psychedelic in nature. Yeah, I do tend to lean on a darker, grim kind of focus. However, I'm not usually using gore too much. There are a few of my pieces that do use bloody stuff, but for the most part, it's I try to create places that couldn't exist yet they seem like they do exist.
Okay. Kind of like augmenting reality sort of thing,
yeah.
If I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
And just as a little side note for the viewers, what are fractals? I'm guessing not a lot of people are going to know what that means.
Avoiding like a long mathematical explanation, it's essentially the concept of one image leading into a smaller version of that image leading into, and it's essentially it's repetition of the same thing.
Like a mirror image of a mirror image sort of thing, where just you see it constantly gradiating inwards sort of thing.
Sort of, yes, yeah, exactly. Gradiating inwards and spiraling and a lot of the same associations within the same image reoccurring, yeah.
Huh. Is there any specific inspiration that you took for your art? Any specific artist or type of art that you looked at that might be even different from what you did? Or?
Yeah, for a long time I looked at artists like Dolly and such, and I was like, oh, these guys are great. And then I really fell in love with Aker, who was inspiration for the Alien films, Monster, and a lot of other great dark airbrush art. A lot of my things, I think about the stuff that he did, the stuff that Android Jones does, and I believe there's somebody else right now. I have a blank. But yeah, a few different
artists.
people. I look at what they do, and I really Gray, Alex Gray. He did a lot of the tool art.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So his stuff is a lot of fractal things. So I look at their artwork, and that's who inspires me currently.
For sure. Is there any specific work that you're more tied to right now? Like any piece of work that you're more attached to personally, or that you think was probably one of your better works thus far, or is there a number of them?
There is a number of them. One of my first favorites, I don't really title a lot of my work, but this one I came to call it Purple World. It's one of my crowd favorites too. It's when I started moving away from just strictly doing mirror images and fractal lines and doing like whole landscapes. I just really enjoyed spending many hours getting into the pretty details of this otherworldly place that many purple hues and stuff, and over the years it was I really enjoyed that piece. And currently I just really like where I'm going with things. Every time I sit down to make a new piece, it kind of evolves. I don't have a plan necessarily with each one. I have like a general idea of what I want to do, and then it evolves from there, and it's really fun, organic. experience. Yeah.
And each one basically becomes like its own entity. It has its own personality to it after a while, because it's like it gets its own feel by the times, like as you're going along with it. You're not just like sitting there bashing it all in one sitting or anything like that most of the time, I'm assuming.
Yeah,
You're describing it.
Yeah, hours of work at different times. So sometimes different emotions can be carried over from different things that I've experienced at the time, but usually I try to keep a cohesive feeling with each piece.
And there's like, of course, benefits to both. You know, you got your, you bashed all of them in one go, you've put all that focus on that one thing, but if you're like going between different ones and like doing different things, maybe they can inspire each other. But if you were to pick one favorite, you would probably say Purple World?
That's an old favorite. I'm really enjoying this piece. I'll just describe it because I don't have a title for it. There's it's kind of like a portal where a female figure, which is made out of a lot of pieces, is standing in front of this portal area, and it's blossoming out from it. I really enjoy how that piece currently looks. I don't know, a lot of my ones that I have up right now are some of my favorites. My more recent series has been very enjoyable.
Alright, well, I think at this point we're going to go ahead and cut over to my buddy Mr. Smilez and check out the showcasing of whatever painting we decide to pick from all these wonderful pieces of art. So, see y'all in a minute.
Alright, thank you, Gage. Alright, hey, how's it going, buddy? Well, obviously we're here once again at the Underground Rockshop in here, and we're taking a look at two beautiful pieces of artwork that our friend here, what's your name again?
Grimm Cat.
Grimm Cat.
Grimm Cat.
What?
Grimm Cat.
Grimm Cat, I'm so sorry.
No,
that our friend Grimm Cat is going to be talking about today. So, is there anything you would like to say about these two particular pieces?
Anything in particular? No. Well, one, I used part of my face within this one.
Really?
Yeah, everything I do is, however, hand drawn. I don't take any Photoshop images of anything and just incorporate them. I hand draw anything. But I did use my own face as a model for that one. I used actually part of somebody's eye to create the green in these, a good friend of mine. Nothing in particular, there's just kind of, I want a lot of my art to speak to the individual and to bring out what they want to have brought out in it. I try not to impress too many things onto people when they view what I have. So.
All right then. So what are the names for these particular pieces?
That's part of what I mean by that is I don't like to name my pieces. I want them to emerge to people. I would call this one essentially Greenhorn, and I would call this Lady Portal, I suppose, like in an offhand way. But I really don't want that to. Again, shape too much of the person's experience of viewing and experiencing the
okay,
art.
so personally that's what the names mean to you, but you want the other people to look at it differently, and I caught it.
Yeah.
And don't worry, I am a professional, semi-professional. With that being said, what are the hammer prices for both of these?
These both, as framed pieces are 60. However, when I have non-frame pieces, I tend to run them 40 to 50. I'm still a newer artist, and I am trying to find price points that people are comfortable with while not devaluing or overvaluing what I'm doing at the same time.
Okay then, well that's understandable. Where would someone go if they wish to purchase some of your art? We're professionals.
Currently I'm on Facebook at Grimm Cat Designs on Facebook, but I will eventually have an Etsy store as well, so people can order them online. I participate in a lot of local, not a lot, but I'm wanting to participate in more local art shows. That's essentially the best way now. Eventually I'm hoping that maybe you can find like different shops like Daydreams or something to sell my stuff too.
I love staring Daydreams. It actually makes kind of sense with these two. Kind of spread a light and put the darkness and mix it with the light. It's just a nice contrast in my opinion.
Yeah.
Well, that being said, how long did it take for you to approximately do some of these art?
These ones in particular. Oh my gosh, I don't even time myself. I will start somewhere around like 10 at night, just starting with a concept, and then I'll just be drawing, and suddenly like daylight will be up, and it'll be like, holy crap, I need to go to bed because the birds are awake now.
Yep.
Maybe 12 hours as an average on a piece that I'm doing.
Okay, man. Well, you know what? They look gorgeous, and I would love one day to have the opportunity to purchase some of these. Unfortunately, we are broke. But that will change one day just to get some of these, especially this one. I really like this one.
Thank you.
What technique do you typically put into these? Like, do you have a special way of making these, or?
Well, I essentially start by mixing my color palette. Like, I start with my background, and I just kind of work in a free space and move it around until I start to the idea starts to form to me, and then I essentially start to make my foreground, and I decide, okay, I'll start making with like this one, I'll start making a face, and then what do I want that face to be doing? Oh, I'll make it essentially like a dragon thing with horns.
Exactly. Okay.
Since I am working in digital media, I can have repetition of shapes and everything like that, and then I'll take like combinations of colors, like here in this collar part. I'll like a certain color thing, and then I'll essentially use the program to fan out something else that I drew and create like these nice circular things, these repetition shapes, and that's where the fractal ideas come from too. Similarly with this, I start with concept, and then I move out, occupy the space to create an interesting use of space and negative space. And it's not entirely interesting outside of here, but at the same time, it's still being used. I don't want to just leave like blank area, because I don't feel anything actually exists in a blank area. Everything has context, and I like to keep that.
Well, it's very beautiful. I'm not even making fun of you. I'm being serious. It's very beautiful. Well, that's all the time we have for now. So I'm gonna let Gage take over the rest of this, and I hope to see you guys next time. All right?
Thank
you, Gage.
All right. Well, is there anything else you would like to add for the viewers? Anything you wanted to convey, a special message, or anything else you wanted to tell about yourself before we wrap this up?
Something special? I don't know. Don't ever let yourself be limited by your immediate surroundings. Find what it is that you enjoy, and find a way to make that happen for yourself. Like, I found myself so boxed in by what was around me, and I didn't realize the possibilities I had until I really tried and applied myself. It's very vague, but
It works. It's still got the deepness. People can fill in the blanks whatever they want, but it's still a great message. Nonetheless, this has been Grimm Cat, if I'm saying that right.
yeah.
And Gage Hellion, thank you so much for tuning into Smile TV. And remember to smile, because we are always watching.
Okay.